It's Tuesday. Welcome to Davita's Stampin' Spot. I hope you're having a great week. If you're in Kansas, you're experiencing snow. We had snow today, which is absolutely crazy. And now it's gone. Isn't that funny the way it goes? So I'm check. Oh, we are live. Good deal. Okay. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Donna. Good morning in Australia. Glad you guys can join me. I'm going to do Joseph's coat technique today. Um, family comes first, and I had to help Kent with a project till almost 8:30 last night, and then tried to come up with something. And this was an old one, but a good one. So I want to remind you of this technique if you've seen it before, and trying just a little bit of a different twist on it. And then if you've never seen it before, hopefully it'll be something you'd like to give a try. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our blending brushes, and I'm going to add some color to it. And I'm going to use Highland Heather, Mango Melody, and Flirty Flamingo. Hey, Julie, it's good to see that you're joining me today. All right, so I'm going to start with the Flirty Flamingo. And a lot of times with the blending brushes, you want to start off the edge of your paper and then slowly work onto the paper to get a nice, smooth, soft image. And if you, like here where I wanted to add a little bit more, I dabbed it on the edge and then went there. Or otherwise, you're always going to be darker on the edge moving this way. So I'm going to take and put a couple spots of the Flirty Flamingo on here. I'm going to grab the Mango Melody and rub it in. Now I did learn something, one of those things that you forget about, and then when it happens, you go, oh, I did know that. So when you sponge this ink on here, it's going to stay wet for a little while. So what you want to do is either use your heat tool. Now I'm going to use Highland Heather. Use your heat tool to dry it really well, or set it aside and let it dry for a while. I'll show you my disaster, what happened because I didn't do that here in a minute. So I'm just adding the colors in. I went to Split Coast and was looking for techniques that I could quickly put together. And I remembered this one from many, many, many years ago when my upline used to have meetings. All right, so you can do it where you have a lot of different colored splotches all over the place, or bigger ones like I did. Here's one that, well, this is the one that I just did. And Donna, you're still in your PJs. Man, I wish I was in my PJs. Although I guess I'm kind of glad I got through today. All right, so there's that one. And here's one that I did earlier. And you can see on this one, looks a little different. I mean, anytime you sponge, you're going to get a different look. So if I was going to use this one and needed to use it right away, what I would do is I would use my heat tool on it to make sure everything's dried. But I went ahead and did this one ahead of time, so I didn't have to worry about doing that with the sound and everything. And I want to resist the embossing powder that we're going to put on here, so I'm going to take my embossing buddy. Hopefully you have one of these. I know it's something we don't sell currently, but I just really like how it pulls the static off the paper. And last week I used the To a Wild Rose set. And if you remember, I only used 2 of the stamps. I used the filling and then this outline image. So today I'm using this one. Now it's really a 3-step, but I'm pulling it apart and just using the one. So I'm going to use Versamark, and okay, so I'm going to use Versamark for the 3rd piece of the flower here. I'm going to ink it up really well with Versamark, and then I want to put it here. Like that. And then I wanted to add a greeting. So I pulled out of that set the one that says true friendship of one of God. Woo, true friendship is one of God's greatest gifts. And I'm going to add that here to the bottom. So we've added Versamark image. Now I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder and cover those two images. Now, the first time I did this last night, and like I said, I was tired after helping Kent with his desk that we assembled, and I sponged it and then got my Versamark out and my powder, and I wanted to try the outline image, which didn't work so well, and I'll show you what happened. So here you can see I had extra powder all over the place. And when I went to sponge it, it even resisted some of the sponge you can see here, and it just looked awful. And so I went, what's the problem? And then realized, oh yeah, you gotta let the ink dry. So that was tip number one. So now I've got my clear embossing powder on there, and I'm gonna grab my heat tool and heat it up. And my extension cord's not gonna reach, so sorry. You won't get to see it go from sticky to sandy to shiny. It is gonna be a little bit hard to see just because when it goes shiny, it blends right into the sponging and it's pretty difficult to see. I'll show you here in just a second. The powder was actually the easiest way to see it. All right. So if I bring it back now, I'll try to get it up here, and you can see shiny. It's kind of hard to see, but you can at least see the shiny part of it. So now we've got our sponging that we had to dry first, and then our embossing powder over the top. And again, that's the clear embossing powder. Now, the way Joseph's coat is done is then we're going to take black, and I'm using Memento, and I'm going to take a blending brush. I have to admit, it was really hard to put black in my blending brush. I don't know. I don't hardly ever blend black, I will tell you that. And now what I want to do is I'm going to cover the entire thing with black. And the more black you add, the better, which seems really strange because it's like, well, you're covering everything up. And that's true, we are. So you're going to just slowly do your circles. You don't have to worry about starting off the edge as much here because we want it to be really dark. So like I was saying, here it is April, and we're ready for shorts and flip-flops. And we had, I think around here, we probably got 2 inches of snow last night. So Danae sent me a picture of Kaysen and Danae with snow. And I never thought Kaysen would get to see snow the first month of his life, but I'm sure he won't remember it, but at least she took a picture and we'll remember. And they're actually having a soccer game at the high school today. And I looked right before I left and it's 39 degrees. Not a pleasant way to watch a soccer game, for sure. All right, so here we go. We've got black all over the whole thing. It's like, oh, that looks pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to see. So the last step is grabbing a paper towel or Kleenex that doesn't have the lotion in or whatever, and we're just going to rub across the embossed image. And what this does is it pulls the sponged image from underneath the embossing and the color comes through. So it's almost like a chalkboard that you've put beautiful color on. Isn't that cool? Look at that. See if I can get it so you can see it. My light. See, I got the curtain up and now there's too much light in here. There you. So here's your purple, and then you've got your Mango Melody, which almost looks like So Saffron here. And we've got the Flirty Flamingo, and then it almost looks like Calypso Coral in there too. But I think that is so pretty. And then of course, if we want to draw out the color, one of the best things we can do is put some cardstock behind it. Donna's, I don't know if you guys can see that, but in Australia, they're getting ready to go into winter. So we're just coming out of it and they're just going into it. I think I'm glad we're us. I'm ready for some warmer weather. All right, so of course I'm going to mount it on some purple because you know me, I like my purple. And get my glue. Mount that. And then I pulled some Flirty Flamingo cardstock, and I wanted to add just a little more depth to it. I tried adding some ribbon and stuff, and I decided it's so striking, I really didn't want to take away from the technique. So I didn't add ribbon or jewels or anything like that. And I love the edges on our dimensionals because they do great. You can make them whatever size you want. So when you want a little bit bigger piece, you can cut on the edge and put that here in the middle. So I'll take that off. It's crazy. You look outside right now and it looks like it should be, 70 degrees. The grass actually needs to be cut. Kent was going to cut it this weekend and then we had rain. So the grass needs to be cut. And yet this morning when I left for school, I had snow landed on me. All right, so here we go. Isn't that cool? And it's really simple, but it gives you such a neat, different look. So I was playing with it and decided, I was going to do my inside and show you I actually made the inside of the card too. So what I did for the inside was I went back to the set again. Now I've covered both sides here. And I wanted to keep using the same idea, the same stamp set. So I'm going to ink up my flower, and I don't want the whole flower because it's so large. So I'm just going to do partial like that. And then I'm going to do blessed. Let's do that in the purple. And then below the blessed, I'm going to put to be your friend. And there you go. So that'll go on the inside of the card. And then I'll stamp on my name on the back. So that's that card. So then I was playing with it and I got to thinking, well, I wonder what it would look like if I used an open image. So I'm going to go back to this again. And I think it's probably dry, but I'm going to use the heat tool on it just a little bit to make sure that it's dry. Hey, Donna, it was great to see you. Have a great day, and we'll catch you later. All right, so let's hope it's all done here. And I'm going to use the embossing buddy again. This time I'm going to pull the open image from that same To a Wild Rose. I guess I need to clean it because it's got Flirty Flamingo on it. And if Fran was on here, she would be teasing me because she'd say, I can't believe you're using pink. I think I've used pink 2 weeks in a row. She likes pink and I don't, but I'm adding in my purple. So, all right, so we've done the sponging. It's dry. We've put the purple, the yellow, and the pink on it. Now I'm going to use my Versamark and ink up the flowers. And when I tried to do this the first time, I didn't use the embossing buddy and I didn't let it dry. And I'll have to remember to show you what happened with this one. All right, so again, I'm going to grab the clear embossing powder. And as I said before, this is the easiest way to see where your stamping is because the powder shows up so much better on the sponged images. All right. So you can see I've got part of flowers. I wanted to make it look like it was wallpaper, or a big piece of designer series paper. So I just want partials all over the place since it's a smaller piece. All right, so now I'm going to heat it up. And then be ready because I'm going to be asking you what the final layout's going to be for this card. So get ready. Someday I'm going to have to learn editing for videos. I love those videos where you're watching a lady or a man work and all of a sudden it's fast forward and they get a whole bunch of things done in like 10 seconds. I haven't figured that out yet. All right, so there we go. Now I've got them embossed. Now, if we did it like last time, we'd grab this black. But as you know, my favorite color is purple. So instead of doing black this time, I'm going to grab Gorgeous Grape, which is a darker shade than the Highland Heather. So I'm going to grab it, my blending brush, and instead of using the black, I'm going to use the purple. Same idea, it's just that it's got this black, or instead of the black filler, it's going to have the purple. I want to see what you think of this. Now, if you were doing this, I would encourage you to use your favorite color. Because as we know, if you choose your favorite color for projects, you're going to like it a lot more. The hardest thing for me is when I pull a color that's not my favorite and try to work with it. It's like I'm already 2 steps towards not liking it because I haven't chosen the color that I like. And I suppose if you went back and looked, it would be easy to tell that purple is my color because I use it a lot. Okay, so I've covered the whole thing in purple again. Then I'm going to grab my paper towel and I'm going to pull the ink off. Now, if you're not familiar with this, what happens is that the embossing powder, as it's heated, resists the ink. So it's kind of like your crayons with Easter eggs, and it's resisting that color. Now over here, I had purple behind it. So even though I'm pulling that off, it's hard to see because it's purple behind there. So I probably should have stuck to the 2 colors. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see it on here, but see it's purple versus the black. So it depends on what you want. Now I thought the purple looked really cool. So now here's where I want your opinion. So I thought about mounting it just like I did the other one. So with the yellow behind it, the Mango Melody on the purple, and it's the Gorgeous Grape. So it would look like that. Or doing it where I pulled this big sheet and I stamped hello from that same set. And I did this one a little bit earlier. It's the same thing. So it would look like this. What do you think? Small or big background? Tell me what you think. I'll wait. I saw something today that told me it's a 20-second delay from what I do to when it shows up on Facebook. So I'll wait and see what you think. Big background, little background. While I'm waiting, I will remind you, if you're a demonstrator, that today is the last day to use your celebration money, that your rewards that you earn, so make sure you use those. If you're a customer, I want to remind you and demonstrators that May 3rd is the end for all the retired products, and oh, there's so many good things going away. Just so sad. This set, here's one of them, and I'm just sad it's going. All right, so I have One vote for big, and I have one vote for little. All right, well, let's keep going. We have any other votes? It's going to be a tie, so maybe I'll have to make one of each. All right, so let's see what we can do, how it'll look with both of them then. All right, so this one here, I'm going to glue it on. That's what I think is so cool about this when I teach a class. I always tell people that my idea is the starting point, because then they can do and add whatever they want to it. And it's always so fun to see how they take my idea and change it, add to it, alter it. And usually it turns out really cool. And then I think, wow, I wish I'd have thought of that. So we'll do the big one first, since it was already on the card. And then my next choice for you is I have either the colored sequins, and I'm going, or pearls. I'm going to take them out of the case because I'm sure they won't show up very well. So the pastels that I could add some bling by putting here, I'd probably put, I don't know, well, maybe 1 or 3 on here. Or I have the rhinestones. So what do you think? Pearls or rhinestones? And while, oh, I did with my, grab another piece of paper. All right, so do I want the pearls or the rhinestones? I got, oh, you agree on that one. We're going with the pearls. All right. So 1 or 3, what do you think? 1 pearl or 3 pearls today? And while you're voting on that, I'm going to put this one together. All right, I got a vote for 3. Let's see what the other vote is. I made a project the other day where the pearls were hidden just a little bit, and I really struggled with counting them. And I had a pearl in the middle of the flower. So it was like, well, do I count that or not? All right, there we go. Let's go back to this one. Get that nasty paper out of the way. I remember the very first video I tried to do like this. Do you guys remember that? I didn't know that I had to scroll down to see your comments, and you guys were voting on things and I couldn't see it. And I was feeling really silly because I couldn't, I didn't think anybody was watching or voting. Then when I found out that you guys had been voting the whole time, it was really, it felt really silly. Lessons learned, that's for sure. And today I tried while I was at school to figure out, oh, that turned out really cool. Great idea, guys. So there's one. And then we'll add to this one. I was working on the technology because, you know, last week I couldn't get it to work. And apparently it was a glitch from Zoom, because today it says, if you get this message, ignore it because it's not correct. So that was kind of nice to know it wasn't me. And then I even felt better because some of the Stampin' Up! People had trouble this week with Zoom. So then I knew it wasn't just me. I was very thankful for that because I usually figure I'm the one that can't figure things out. So I know 2 of you watching are demonstrators right now. And did you guys do on tour? And if so, where did you go? What city were you quote supposed to be in? Let's see. having a hard time on this one, figuring out where to put them. I guess we'll go there. All right. So there we go. So here's my twist on them. This one is with the purple instead of the black for my background. So I challenge you to give that a try. Choose your favorite color. Probably needs to be one of the darker colors, I would guess, to make it turn out okay. And then here's that one. These are the two with the purple. That's Silly Light. And then this is the one today that I did with the black with Joseph's coat. So there you go, Joseph's coat today. Hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for joining me live. Oh, Julie, you were in Austin, Texas. Awesome. Mine is this Thursday. And the funny thing is, the kids asked me to babysit Kason. So the very first time we get to babysit, I'm going to have to choose between doing some Stampin' Up stuff and grandson. And as you've already figured out, grandson's going to win. But I'm kind of hoping I can combine both. So there you go. I've got to figure out the lighting here. Let's see if I can slide it this way a little bit. There we go. There's my cards for today. Joseph's coat with a little bit of a twist on it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.